Todd Sauerbrunn, the rookie, will kick it off for the Bears, and here we go. Happy New Year. Kadri Ismail from inside his end zone. Brought down near his own 30, and that's where the Minnesota Vikings offense will take over. Minifield on the stop after the 31-yard return by Ismail. Flag on the play. First down for Minnesota. So we are ready to roll, and we'll give you a look at that Minnesota quarterback, Warren Moon, the oldest starting quarterback in the NFL at 38 years old, a 12th-year player out of Washington. And the Vikings set up first and 10 from their own 29. Scotty Graham, a couple. Give you a look at the offensive lineup for the Minnesota Vikings, led by Warren Moon, the quarterback out of Washington. Up front protecting him, Stussy, McDaniel, Christie, Hinton, and Rick Cunningham, the newcomer from the Cardinals. The backs and receivers, Amp Lee, the setback, along with Carter and Reed and Ismail. The wideouts, Adrian Cooper, is the tight end. Second down for the Vikings. A couple yards over the middle. Brought down by Al Fontenot. Pickup of a couple will bring up 3rd and 6 after the carry by Amp Lee. For Chicago, new ends. Spellman switches sides. Takes over where Trace Armstrong was a year ago. The linebackers in the middle. Joe Kane played at the outside spot. Now in the middle for Dave Wanstead's defense and the secondary. Lincoln Carrier, Carter, and Donnell Wolford, one of the best corner covermen in the NFL. Third down facing Warren Moon. Big rush, steps up, and he's brought down. John Theory with the initial pressure, and it's time for the Vikings to punt.
We said the Bears needed a pass rusher, and I don't know if Theory's the answer, but he's the answer on this play. The reason why I don't know if he's the answer is because he comes untouched here. And when you come untouched, hey, you just got to make the play. He breaks Warren Moon's concentration, and then they just swamp him and swarm him, bring him down.
Big Jim Flanagan was there defensively to help with the stop, and now Mike Saxon back to punt for the Vikings. Decent punt, very good punt. Jeff Graham back to get it from around his 10. Forced out of bounds by Ed McDaniel. And here comes the Chicago Bears offense. Led to the field by quarterback Eric Kramer. He won the duel in the preseason. He is the man at the controls for the Bears out of North Carolina State. Up front, Peck, Perry, Fontenot, Leuenberg, and Big Cat Williams. Todd Perry, the new starter. Mark Bortz played there a year ago. The backs and receivers, Tillman and Harris in the backfield. Graham and Conway, the wideouts, and Keith Jennings makes the start in place of Gedney. Conway in motion and on first down. Kramer to throw. Conway, a quick out, immediately brought down by Donald Frank after he crossed the 25-yard line. Pickup of 5. Give you a look at the Minnesota defense up front. Fernando Smith, John Randall, the All-Pro, Esera Tuaulo, and Roy Barker at the other end. Tuaulo, the starter, takes over for Henry Thomas. The linebackers, Del Rio, the Pro Bowler, in the middle. The newcomer, Broderick Thomas from Detroit. He gives this Minnesota defensive core a blitzing linebacker, and you look at the secondary. Second down and 5, and the quick swing. Raymond Harris knocked out of bounds near first down yardage. Might have been brought down a little short.
Raymond Harris is going to have a busy day today for the Chicago Bears to defeat this Vikings defense. They need to get the ball to 3 receivers. Timpson, obviously one of them, Conway the other, and then Raymond Harris out of the backfield. And then, of course, Graham and Timpson kind of alternate.
Player down on the sideline, and I guess they're just going to let him roll around in pain as we play on. 3rd and less than a yard, and the keeper, and it will depend on the spot. Looked like Kramer got the first down. We welcome the Detroit-Pittsburgh audience as the Bears have taken over after holding Minnesota 3 plays and out. Now the Bears pick up a first down on 3rd and less than 1. So a fresh set of downs for Eric Kramer and the Bears as they have it at their own 32. Tillman. Big hole over the right side, brought down by Harlan Barnett, the strong safety.
When the Bears run the football today, when they run the quick hits like that, they're going to be running away from John Randall. He is a force to be reckoned with, possibly, I think, the best defensive tackle in the game. So when they're going to run the ball, they're going to go away from him.
Pickup of 4 by Tillman, 2nd down and 6 for Chicago. Hard snap count by Kramer. Nobody moved. Quickly to the sideline, and a penalty flag comes flying in on Donald. Climbed the back of Jeff Graham. Vikings arguing that the ball was tipped. If that's the case, there will not be pass interference.
Yeah, and that ball was tipped, so that flag is probably going to come up off the ground.
0 for 1 to start the season. Pass interference against Minnesota.
37 defense. First down.
Donald Frank is flagged for the interception. Or I should say interference.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings do a great job of getting pressure on Kramer. They tip the ball there, and then the flag comes after it.
I guess when I said 0 for 1, I was talking about the officials. You're right, that ball was tipped, and that should not be, and now they have reversed the call. What, are they sneaking instant replay in here on us?
They must have heard us up here.
Roy Barker got his big hand on it, tipped the pass, and so the incomplete pass will bring up a 3rd down, 3rd and 6 from their own 36.
All right. This is a situation that the Bears offense never wants to be in, a known passing situation, because they're going to be coming. The heat's going to be coming from the Vikings on this one.
Robert Green, the lone setback behind Kramer. Kramer overshoots everybody. Jeff Graham, the intended receiver, and it's time for the Bears to punt. Back to Hollywood, and we talk for the first time this year to JB.
All right, Joe. Kicker Norm Johnson paid big dividends for Pittsburgh as he boots home the 31-yard game winner. Pittsburgh wins it 23-20 in a well-played game over Detroit. Back to Joe Buck and Tim Green.
All right, James Brown, thank you on our first McDonald's game break of the year. Todd Sauerbrunn, the rookie, back to punt it away out of West Virginia. And they love what he gives them, and you can see why. A high-hanging, spiraling punt taken inside the 15 by Palmer and returned across the 20. Vikings have the ball for the 2nd time in this first quarter.
Well, the big question for the Vikings is right here, Warren Moon. Can he flip the switch? Because in the preseason, he really struggled. As you said in the open, he didn't take that first-team offense into the end zone, not even once. So can he just come out and turn it on, go back to the Warren Moon that took this team to the playoffs? Is the timing going to be there?
First down for the Vikings at their own 21. Smith and Evans set up behind Moon, who will throw. Chris Carter brought down right at first down yardage, and he picked up a Minnesota first down. And what a year last year for Chris Carter. 122 receptions for a new NFL record.
He's an elusive guy. Most teams will put 2 men on him, but the
At their own 32. Robert Smith, the ball carrier. Tackled by Carrier, Zorich, and Kane. A gain of 7.
The Vikings have 2nd and 3 at their own 39.
Good pickup of 7 on the first down carry, and a 2nd and 3 coming up. Amp Lee now the setback behind Moon. And he gets it and brought down immediately. Jim Flanagan, who had the best camp of any Bear.
Flanagan looked like he was trying to start a power saw when he came through there. He's coming from this side of the field, and he just blasts right through the gap. The Chicago Bears defense is in a real dilemma here because the Vikings are in a run situation. It's 2nd and short, but they showed a passing formation, 3 wide receivers. Big play by Jim Flanagan to set them back, and now everyone knows that they've got to go to the air to make the first down.
A loss of 3 on the play and a 3rd and 6 for the Vikings. Bears showing blitz, and here they come. Moon gets rid of it and nearly picked off by Marty Carter. Drew Jordan, the intended receiver, and Moon almost picked off by the former Buccaneer.
Marty Carter had the number on this play. And more importantly, he had confidence in his blitz. He knew the blitz was going to work. Watch Theory coming straight through 94 in the middle of the screen on Moon. Carter said to himself, hey, I know the heat's going to be there. The pass is going to come out quick, and I'm going to jump on it. Now all he's got to do is catch it.
4th and 6, and time for the Vikings to punt. Mike Saxon is back to get the snap. Good snap. Very good punt again. Graham over to get it from his 16, and he lost the football out of bounds. Good coverage downfield by Griffith. And the Bears will have it for the 2nd time in this first quarter.
You know, Griffith, the Bears have got to get him on. The Flyers have got to get him. They've got to knock him out because this is the 2nd time on the punt that he's been down there in Graham's face. If they can't keep him out, they're not going to be able to return a punt all day long. There he is there. You see, there's 2 guys on him. The Bears put 2 guys on Griffith, number 24, but he still gets through him, and he's the guy that forces Graham to lose his concentration and lose that football.
Good special teams work by Griffith. And the Bears have it for the 2nd time. Bears picked up 1 first down on their first possession. And with 8:07 to go in the first quarter with no score, Chicago has it 1st and 10 at their own 18-yard line. Tillman eventually brought down by Jack Del Rio as he crossed the 20.
The Bears will do this. They will run the football today, and they believe that if they can run the football 30 times, they are going to win the game because they're going to control the clock, they're going to control the ground game, and they're not going to let the Vikings believe that they can get them into a predictable situation.
Dave Wanstead always talks about controlling the clock, limiting the penalties, and hanging on to the football. On 2nd down, nothing. Wrapped up immediately by Harlan Barnett. Carter with the carry.
You talk about being in a known situation. The Bears are in it now. It's a passing situation. Harlan Barnett, number 42, is the strong safety. He's part of the secondary, but look at him. He's not only on the line of scrimmage, he's behind the line of scrimmage making the tackle. That's Tony Dungy, the Vikings defensive coordinator. That's Tony Dungy's aggressive defense. That's 8 men up.
It was Tillman on the carry, and he just did get back to the line of scrimmage in a 3rd and 7 for Chicago. Big pressure. Kramer gets rid of it, and Graham can't hang on.
The thing about that is it doesn't matter even if Graham does hang on because they've got to go. Kramer's got to go all the whole distance to pick up the first down. Randall's the guy here who gets the heat. 93 on the right hand side. Actually, it was Barker, 92, came in off the end.
4th down and 7 in time for the Bears to punt. Todd Sauerbrunn back to get rid of it for Chicago. David Palmer on the run from his own 34. He's exciting and brought down short of the 50-yard line. No score here in the first quarter, and the Vikings have it for the third time after the 41-yard punt and the 15-yard return by Palmer. And what a day here at Soldier Field in Chicago. We welcome the Blockbuster Video Blimp and its crew to today's telecast. Piloting the Blockbuster Blimp is Terry Dillard from Lake Monroe, Florida. Best field position for either club as the Vikings have it at their own 47. Bouncing it outside is Smith. Gets to the sidelines and ridden out of bounds by Carrier after he picked up a first down out of bounds inside the Bear 35.
Well, that's got to feel good for Smith. Ron Cox, that was the guy, number 54 for the Bears, who let that ball get outside. There he is right in the middle of the screen. Watch Cox come up. He gets blocked by Hinton, and he gets pinned on the inside. He's got to force that ball carrier back to the inside. Once Smith gets to the perimeter, he gets the big gain.
We welcome those of you watching the Green Bay Packers and the St. Louis Rams. No score, first quarter just underway, and Smith will try the right side, and he gets it inside the 30. Brought down by Joe Kane, the middle linebacker.
And Robert Smith looks good. If he can get hot, Dennis Green, the Vikings head coach, is going to just stick with Robert Smith. They'll let him run this ball all day until he gets tired. You have to remember, he held out most of training camp, so he's not in the same type of shape that an Amp Lee or a Scotty Graham might be.
Smith has carried 3 times for 30 yards. He's had a very good first quarter.
Yeah, and there he is over on the sideline. You see him bending over. He's got his hands on his knees. He's trying to catch his breath. Next thing he'll do is get a drink.
Second down and 5 for the Vikings inside the Bear 30. Big yards across the middle, Amp Lee. And down at the Bear 12-yard line. Good blocking up front by this Minnesota offensive line.
Finally brought down by Joseph.
17-yard pickup by Amp Lee.
When you see a run go that far, you know that even the receivers are in on the blocking. There you see Chris Carter just getting a piece of Marty Carter, number 23. And just that piece is enough to keep Marty Carter from filling immediately to the inside, and it allows Amp Lee to go the extra yard.
First down for the Vikings. Scotty Graham gets nothing. Brought down by John Theory. Pickup of only 1, and John Theory, we've called his name quite a few times already.
Yeah, we've seen him around. We saw him disturb Warren Moon in the pocket, force the sack in the first series, and now we see him here making the big play on the run. But the Vikings are running the football, and if they continue to run the football like this, it's going to open up the pass, and they're going to hit Chicago. When Chicago's just waiting and playing that run, they're going to hit them with the changeup and score quick.
2 tight ends into the game for Minnesota with Graham in the backfield. Bears bring pressure. Andrew Jordan brought down just shy of a touchdown, and now they give it to him.
Did I say score quick?
Andrew Jordan, the first touchdown of the season for the Vikings. His first touchdown in the NFL.
The Bears are not a blitzing team, but on this one, on this pass play, they rolled the dice, they sent everybody, but the Vikings line and their running backs picked it up. They gave Warren Moon time to make that pass.
Andrew Jordan brought down right on that pylon, and a touchdown awarded to Minnesota. The 11-yard pass from Warren Moon, and Fuad Revez on to tack on the extra point. Seven to nothing, Minnesota out in front. A 5-play drive covering 53 yards. 2.5 minutes off the clock, and the Vikings draw first blood.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by the new Dodge, a division of the Chrysler Corporation, by American Express, by your Allstate agent. For home, auto, life, and business insurance, you're in good hands with Allstate. And by Pepcid AC Acid Controller. You can be heartburn-free with new Pepcid AC.
Back at Soldier Field here in Chicago, the Vikings grab a 7-0 lead on the 11-yard touchdown pass from Warren Moon to Andrew Jordan. Quadreves kicks it away for the Vikings, and Michael Timpson on the return from his 5. Across his 25, which is where the Bears will have it, down by 7. Warren Moon to the air, and the Vikings grab the lead. Now we'll see if Eric Kramer can answer for the Bears. Vikings have the lead. Now the Viking defense led by Tony Dungy, and he has a new component to work with, and that is Broderick Thomas, who this year brings something to this Viking defense that they haven't had, and that's a blitzing outside linebacker.
Yeah, they brought him to replace Henry Thomas, who's a defensive tackle. How do you replace a defensive tackle with a linebacker? You blitz him.
1st and 10 from their own 27 for the Bears. Play action. Kramer airs it out. Conway all alone. Curtis Conway. And the Bears have answered here in the first quarter. Donald Frank beaten on the play, and the Bears come right back with the big strike.
The Bears get paid back for that hard work on the run, selling the play fake, and Dennis Green's defensive secondary biting on that play fake, allowing Conway to get behind the secondary, and boy, Kramer shows a nice strong arm on that pass.
73-yard touchdown pass to Curtis Conway. And now Kevin Butler to tack on the extra point, and we are tied. 3:43 to go in the quarter, and here's your play action.
Here's the play action. They sell the run. Kramer steps back and just lets this baby fly all the way. He knows Curtis Conway has got the distance. Now he's got the end zone.
And now he's got a touchdown, and now the Bears have a 7-7 first quarter game. Minnesota answered by Curtis Conway and Eric Kramer. The 73-yard touchdown throw to tie this game at 7.
Curtis Conway, you talk about selling the play fake. Watch him here. Donald Frank's on the coverage. Conway breaks inside. Watch the stutter right there. He stutters just a little bit. Frank bites on it. Conway's gone. This is a first-round draft choice a couple of years ago that is finally starting to play like a first-round draft choice.
Ought to take a lot of pressure off Eric Kramer. Condre Ismail will watch it sail out of bounds instead of into the end zone, and the Vikings will end up with great field position at their own 40.
Watch 51 Broderick Thomas bite on the play fake. He's coming up. He's got a clear shot to the quarterback, but he bites, goes for the running back. Kramer has time to launch that ball.
Well, Todd Sauerbrunn, the rookie, makes a mistake.
And Kramer, you're going to see that smile time and time again. If he throws those long balls like that, all of a sudden from a question mark, that guy's going to be carried around in everybody's locket. A picture of him, that is.
Very nice. Todd Sauerbrunn, the rookie, with a mistake, kicking it out of bounds, and the Vikings end up with great field position at their own 40. Ampley in the backfield. Jordan in motion. Play action. Carter, first down and inside Bear territory, inside the 45. Chris Carter, who had an unbelievable year last year with 122 catches, 7 touchdowns, is solid, dependable, and one of the best.
Look at him here, the second best receiver over the past 2 years, and of course last season the best with the most catches in the league. When you start seeing yourself in the same company with Jerry Rice and Sterling Sharp, you know you've arrived. It took him a while, though.
A guy who was waived by Philadelphia back in 1990. Now the NFL record holder for receptions in the season. Smith able to get back to the 40, and that's it.
Chris Zorich really does an outstanding job on this play against Randall McDaniel, number 64. You see Zorich right there. Watch him. He gets up into McDaniel. McDaniel takes the swipe at his head. Zorich shakes it off, goes to the outside, then breaks back to the inside and makes the tackle. That is just outstanding body control by Chris Zorich.
and immediately taken out of the lineup and on the sideline. Second down and 10. Play action again. Amply knocked out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Marty Carter there to knock him out of bounds.
Well, even though that was a positive play for the Vikings, the good news for the Bears was Alonzo Spellman was right in Warren Moon's face. So Warren Moon, I mean, another quarterback, not as skilled, not as quick getting rid of that ball, gets that ball tipped or even takes a hit from Alonzo Spellman.
Word on Raymond Harris, the running back for the Bears, a bruised shoulder. Vikings have it now, and a third down from the 35. Moon is dropped.
Bite. This is another guy who's been questioned as a first-round pick. Can he be that dominant defensive player? Definitely showing sparks of it here, showing signs of it here. Coming right off the left-hand side, 90, right past Ed Cunningham, just like he's not there. Cunningham trips on his own guy. But hey, you take what you can get. It's a big sack.
Second Chicago sack of the day. And time for the Vikings to punt. Angling for the sideline. We'll see where they mark it as Saxon got rid of it. And the referees will figure out where the ball belongs, and they're going to mark it at the 6. The big sack, the big hold, and the Bears get it back. Tie game here in the first quarter.
Dave Wannstedt had some questions about his defense, especially after that Minnesota drive where they ran the ball down and then threw it into the end zone. But on the last series, guys like Spellman, 90 right there in the middle of the screen, without the hair, Chris Zorich, those guys answered the call.
Up out near the 15-yard line. Brought down 2 yards shy of another Chicago first down. If you just joined us, Raymond Harris bruised his shoulder in the first series and will not return.
The ball at the Bears, 15.
Tied at 7, under a minute to go, first quarter. We welcome those of you who are watching Carolina and Atlanta battle. We got a good one here, 7-7 in the first quarter. On second and short, Tillman brought down just at the first down marker. Essera, Tuaolo, and Big John Randall in there along with Barker for the Vikings.
If the Bears get the first down and get the ball outside the 20-yard line here, I think we may see Rashaan Salaam.
They did get the first down, and that will be the last play of the first quarter. It's a good point. We ought to see a lot of the Heisman Trophy winner Salaam this entire game.
Right, but they don't want to play him in critical areas. They want to play him between the 20s where it's a little safer.
Bears have it, a first down. After the Vikings struck first, the Bears have answered. The end of the quarter, 7-7. With trumpets blaring, we're back at Soldier Field here in Chicago, ready for the start of the second quarter, opening day, and the weather couldn't be better. Check with us in about 3 months. See how the weather is here then.
Yeah, but you know what? I'll take the weather in 3 months here over a dome stadium any day. They're talking about putting a dome here. That, to me, that's a sin.
First quarter statistics on the ground. The Vikings 50 yards on the ground, and Robert Smith, a very big part of that. In the air, 73-yard touchdown pass to Curtis Conway helps along to the 82 yards picked up by Kramer. And here we go, start of the second quarter. Play action, and this is Carter out of the backfield. A first down catch shot across the 30. Why are you seeing Tony Carter? Raymond Harris, they've upgraded his condition, or I guess I should say downgraded, to a broken collarbone.
And that really hurts the Chicago Bears because coming into this season, Dave Wannstedt saw Raymond Harris as really an exciting guy, a feature guy to block for Tillman, to block for Salaam, and not only that, but to get out there and catch a lot of footballs.
So you called it. Rashaan Salaam, the Heisman Trophy winner, is in the backfield for the Bears. He tailback on first down. play action to him. Kramer steps up, and what good coverage by Ed McDaniel. Trying to get it to Keith Jennings. What do you think about Rashaan Salaam? What should we look for here today?
Well, the reason why you're going to see him between the 20s is he limits the Chicago Bears game plan. When he's in, because he held out, he doesn't know the whole offense. The Bears can only run 5 running plays and 5, maybe 6 pass plays.
So we're seeing the Salaam package here in the second quarter.
You could call it that.
Second down and 10 after the incomplete pass to Jennings. Rashaan, not much. Back to the line of scrimmage, and maybe a step or two across.
Well, there's no better way to get into the game than to take a big smashing hit by number 93, John Randall, because now Salaam's into the game. The butterflies are gone. On that first high impact hit, they're gone. The nervousness is gone, and now you can just play football. And you see it there. He takes a nice blow to the head. I don't know if it's nice, but it's nice for the defense.
Spoken like a former defensive lineman. Third and long, and Kramer dumps it off. Green is brought down just short of a first down.
I don't know, it's going to be close. I really like the way Kramer sat in there with confidence and with patience, because Roy Barker came around the end and almost got his big mitt on Kramer's back, almost slapped his arm, but Kramer just stood there like he had something real cold, like cold molasses in his veins.
Sauerbrunn on to punt. As you look at the numbers for Kramer, 5 out of 9 for over 100 yards and a touchdown to Curtis Conway. Green was brought down about a yard shy of a first down, and the rookie Sauerbrunn back to punt. Good snap. Good punt. David Palmer will let it go over his head and down to around the 6-yard line.
That's a defensive weapon. When your punter can put that ball that far down the field, that high up in the air, it's good for your defense.
That's why they spent a number 2 draft pick on a punter. We're tied at 7 in the second quarter.
Mississippi.
A late flag, and after that 53-yard beautiful punt by Sauerbrunn, they make him punt it again, and the difference is for the Vikings, instead of having it at their own 6, they will have it across their own 26, so a 20-yard difference because of an ineligible man downfield. Ryan Wetnight was guilty.
Yeah, and that's not just a physical difference of 20 yards. It's a psychological difference of having the offense pinned back there down near their own end zone.
We will take a break. Big penalty cost the Bears 20 yards in field position.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you. By McDonald's, the official restaurant of the National Football League. By DirecTV, it's personalized TV. And by Duracell batteries. You can't top the copper top.
You said Sauerbrunn was a second-round pick as a punter. Very unusual. But beyond being a punter, this guy has that same type of strange mentality that Kevin Butler does. After his kick here against the Colts, look at him. He makes the tackle. He's in on the tackle, and Dave Wanstead has to have a talk with him and say, hey, you know, you're not out there to make tackles. But the problem is Sauerbrunn's hanging out with Kevin Butler, the kicker for the Bears. Both these guys are like cats that think they're dogs. Did you ever see a cat that thinks it's a dog?
No.
Yeah, I mean, you walk into somebody's house and they say sit, the cat sits because they think they're a dog. They'll chase bones, they'll chase cars, things like that.
So you're saying Sauerbrunn's a dog?
I'm saying that he's a cat who thinks he's a dog. He shouldn't be out there making tackles.
And I'm saying it's first down for Minnesota. Blitz coming. And the Vikings hand it off to Robert Smith. He gets it across the 30. Big pressure brought on by Vincent Smith, and he almost took the handoff.
He really did. I thought that Warren Moon hung on to the football, but he didn't. And if he did, it's a big play here. 55, Vincent Smith just shoots the gap there on a blitz. There he comes, no question about it. But he buys Warren Moon's fake. So nice little detail there by Warren Moon to draw the blitzer off the running back.
Smith again in the backfield for the Vikings on second down. Jake Reed with his first catch of the day across the 40. And Warren Moon, shoulder and all, can still get the ball downfield. We were watching him during the preseason, or I should say pre-game warm-up, and he was throwing the ball 40 yards downfield, a nice tight flat spiral. He's still got the arm.
Yeah, not only does he have the capability to throw the long ball, his numbers there, 5 out of 6, so he's not only throwing it long, he's throwing it very accurately.
First down for Minnesota at their own 42. 7-7 game here with under 11 and a half to go in the half. Amp Lee over the left side. Got it across the 45-yard line.
Amp Lee is the guy who earned the starting role at running back during the preseason in training camp. So they're going to bring him in and out. But the way Robert Smith has carried the ball so far today, he's only going to be a changeup to give Smith a breather.
Of course, the Vikings still scrambling, trying to fill in for Terry Allen, who left Minnesota and now is playing in Washington. Second down for the Vikings. Scotty Graham, nothing. Big Joe Kane, the middle linebacker there for the Bears.
There was some question whether Joe Kane was going to be an ample replacement for Dante Jones. Here he sits in the middle. Watch the big fill. He lays the big hit, and that's what you have to do. You've got to have a linebacker who can get through there, sort it all out, make the big hit, clean it up. And Vincent Smith. Vincent Smith is actually a guy who you'd think would be a middle linebacker. He's the biggest of the linebackers, but he takes a big double team there by Chris Hinton and Todd Stuzzi. They just collapse him.
So Vincent Smith gets the 2 men on him.
He thought he was a folding table.
Minnesota on third down, incomplete to Carter. Donnell Wolford there for the Bears, and the Vikings are now 0 for 4 on third down today.
And there's Donnell Wolford closing the gap, staying tighter to Chris Carter, and that's a big job. It's a big job because he's doing it alone.
And with exactly 10 to play in the first half, the Bears will get it back. 4th and 4 for Minnesota, and they bring on Mike Saxon. Jeff Graham back deep for Chicago. Good snap. Graham calls for the fair catch, and he takes it just inside his own 10 and nearly lost it out of bounds. So the Bears have it again after the 42-yard punt by Mike Saxon. We'll take a break, come back. Chicago has it. We're tied at 7, 9:52 to go in the first half. Laura Layton of Melrose Place seduces the richest man in town, but this forbidden passion could lead to murder. Richard Crenna co-stars in the Name of Love, a Texas tragedy, a world premiere motion picture, coming September 12th to the Fox Tuesday night movie. Bears have it, 1st and 10 from their own 10. And the right guard, Jay Lewinberg, jumped on the hard snap count by Kramer.
Boy, Lewinberg was mad at himself. I mean, normally you see a guy shake his head or point to himself, but Lewinberg just about had a fit on that one.
5 yards. Repeat, first down.
The Bears starting for the second time at their own 10 or worse, and now it will be worse. Back just inside their own 5. 1st and 15 for Chicago. Tillman brought down from behind, got away from that tackle.
The thing that makes you nervous about being pinned down near your own goal line with the Minnesota Vikings defense is they have been the #1 scoring defense in the league over the past 3 years. 17 touchdowns. So whenever they're down there that deep, it makes you nervous because you know they're looking to strip the ball, look for the pick, and take it in.
Good effort by Tillman. He got 3, brings up a 2nd and 12. Kramer airs it out, looking for Conway, and it's picked off by Donald Frank. Back the other way. Down inside the 20. And the The first turnover of the day belongs to Frank, and you know that the last thing Kramer wants to do is smile as he heads off the field.
Absolutely, smiling out of nervousness, and here we see it. We talked about this defense being a turnover defense. Donald Frank was burned by Curtis Conway before. This time, no go. Donald Frank knows he is right there with him every step of the way, and Kramer's got to lay that ball out a lot deeper, and make it, hey, if nobody can catch it, that's fine, but you can't throw it to the side of the defensive back and allow him to be the guy to have the body position to bring it down.
And then to bring it back 32 yards, and on first down, Scotty Graham brings it down inside the 10-yard line. Brought down by Lincoln, and we see back after back after back coming in for Minnesota.
Yeah, they're running by committee, and when you see Scotty Graham in there, you're looking at a 5'9", 270-pound bowling ball, because that's what he is, and he's a change-up from an Ampley who's a quick guy, a Robert Smith who's a juke guy, a perimeter guy. Graham's going to run it straight up the middle.
He picked up 6, 2nd and 4. Graham again, up the middle and down inside the 5, and a Minnesota first down. Carrier had to bring him down, but it's 1st and goal for the Vikings.
Well, we talked about this Minnesota Vikings offensive line, and it's a good line. Jeff Christie, 62, he gets on Kane, locks him up, and opens up that hole.
2 tight ends in the game. John Jarrett, a tight end in the backfield for the Vikings. 1st and goal, Graham fighting for the touchdown, brought down just short of the goal line. Good effort by Scotty Graham, but he got it only to the 1.
Yeah, and this is Graham's territory. This is where you want to use your big bowling ball. You want to let him roll, because you're not going to see Ampley down here. He's a dodger and a darter, but the Chicago Bears defense does a nice job of getting a lot of pins in front of that ball.
2nd down and goal from the 1. 7-7 game. The Vikings at the 1, and this is Graham again, and brought down short. Just did get back to the line of scrimmage.
Boy, excellent penetration by the front line of the Chicago Bears. And you have to remember that Minnesota's offense struggled last season in the red zone. They were 2nd to the worst. Only the Cincinnati Bengals were worse in taking the ball into the end zone from this red zone. Now, the red zone is from the 20-yard line in.
3rd and goal. And remember, Minnesota 0 for 4 on 3rd down here in the first half. Robert Smith. Touchdown, Minnesota. And he got it on the 2nd effort.
You talk about just sheer will, sheer determination. Yeah, go ahead, get excited, Robert Smith, because that's something to get excited for. The Bears did a great job of penetrating, getting in on his feet, but he just was not going to stop until he got that ball over the line.
So the first 3rd down conversion by the Vikings puts it into the end zone and gives Minnesota the lead once again. Fuad Rivez on to try the extra point and trying to extend it to a 7-point Viking lead with 6.5 to go in the first half. Saxon, the punter, is the holder. Good snap, good kick, and the Vikings again out in front by 7. Let's take another look. Did he get in?
People are always saying it's a game of inches, and then somebody else will say, oh, a game of inches, give me a break, you know? I mean, big guys, 100 yards, a lot of real estate out there. Here's why it's a game of inches. Watch this ball just barely, and for an instant, cross that plane. Get over the line, 7 points.
7 points and a 7-point Viking lead with 6.5 to go in the half. Juan Rivez ready to kick it away for the Vikings. They've regained the lead. 14-7. Timpson on the return. Brought down shy of the 20, and a big hit downfield by Orlando Thomas.
I know all the Chicago Bears fans are saying, hey, Robert Smith, he didn't get that ball in. He didn't make it. It came up just short, but a picture is worth 1,000 words. There's the goal line right there, and the ball does get across.
All it has to do is cross that white line, and Robert Smith has had a heck of a first quarter.
Doesn't even have to cross the line, just touch it.
Big first half for Smith, including the touchdown to give the Vikings the 14-7 lead. Over the middle and incomplete, looking for Keith Jennings.
Incomplete. Jack Del Rio on the coverage. Second and 10.
Keith Jennings was not even on the Bears roster a year ago at this time. He was signed when Chris Gedney was injured in week 7. Now Jennings is the starter, and Gedney's watching from the sideline.
And he and Gedney had a real battle during training camp. Then Gedney twisted his ankle, got the flu, and that's really what gave Keith Jennings the edge.
On 2nd and 10, Tillman gets it to the 20, and that's it. And a 3rd and long is facing Chicago.
Chicago will run the ball on 2nd and long just for the sake of running the ball, just for the sake of making the Vikings defense respect that part of their game. So they don't want to be into a predictable situation. But if you run it on 2nd and 10, you get nothing. Now you're 3rd and 10, and everybody knows you're going to pass.
To be exact, 3rd and 9. Eric Kramer, 3 of his last 9 passes overall in the half, 5 out of 11. Kramer steps up and finds Conway, and he is brought down right at the marker. It will depend on the spot.
Well, if they make it, you've got to credit 75, the Chicago Bears guard, Todd Perry. Watch him here working against John Randall, one of the best, if not the best, and he's all alone. He works him solo, he rides him around and puts him into the turf, gives Kramer the time.
They're going to have to measure for the first down. The ball is shy of the 30. They needed to get it just across the 29 for a first down. How about the half for Conway? 3 catches, 87 yards, and a touchdown. And he picked up a first down. So a big half for Curtis Conway.
Now, how about Todd Perry, though? There he is, 75. What a test on opening day to have to face John Randall. It's going to be all down season, all downhill for the rest of the season for him, except for when they play the Vikings again.
So a 1st and 10 for Chicago at their own 29. Jennings brought down at the 37 by Del Rio. A pickup of 7 on the completion to Jennings.
This offense, this Chicago Bears offense, is a lot more diversified than it was a year ago. It's diversified because Eric Kramer has got more weapons. Curtis Conway stepped up. Keith Jennings, 85, the tight end who caught that last pass, he stepped up. So Kramer's got the targets, and he also has got the comfort and the ability to deliver.
2nd down and 3. Tillman, big hit, and brought down as he got to the 40. Check it, Robert Green on the carry, and another Chicago first down.
And here comes Salam, and this is the time you want to use him. You've got the ball moving, you've got it going, and Rashaan Salam may be the star, the superstar that this Chicago Bears team and the fans, the whole city, has been waiting for.
Salam is the running back to take them to that next level. He's getting some action on opening day. First down for Kramer. Big rush from the outside. Kramer steps up and finds Graham. Good moves and down at the 36.
Boy, Rashaan Salam, I know Graham made a heck of a catch and he's excited. Watch 31 Salam. Watch the job he does on protecting Eric Kramer. This guy's a superstar back, Heisman Trophy winner. Well, look at that. He knocks Ed Cunningham right off his feet. That gives Kramer the time.
First down for the Bears. 14-7, the Vikings lead, but the Bears have it at the Minnesota 36. Kramer hit as he throws. Nearly picked off by Harlan Barnett. Intended for Graham again.
Kramer's pass intended for Jeff Graham.
The Bears went to the well earlier. They made it happen with the long pass to Curtis Conway, and now they figure, hey, we might as well try it again. They're getting the ball going. They're getting it rolling on the ground. That should draw the secondary up. But Harlan Barnett, 42, right in the middle of the screen, is not fooled at all. He's back there, and he's back there deep. And that's the throw that you have to wonder about because, again, just like Frank's interception earlier, the defender was closer than the offensive guy.
Salam on 2nd and 10. Gets it to the 30, a pickup of 6. And Rashawn and the Bears have a 3rd and 4, and Salam will check out. Robert Green now checks in at the running back spot for Chicago on 3rd and 4. Carter also in the backfield for Chicago. That's Conway in motion. And Kramer to put it up. Finds Graham. Looked like he had first down yardage. Then to make a move, he gave up that yardage. And he's brought down short of a Bear first down.
There's a little change up. The Minnesota Vikings move John Randall out to defensive end, and then they just bring everybody. A lot of pressure from the other side. They figure Randall's a one-man show. Bring him from one side and send 3 or 4 on the other side.
2-minute warning. 35 years ago, the Minnesota Vikings played their first game ever. What 2 memorable things occurred in that game? Our Aflac trivia answer after this. The answer to our Aflac question: the Minnesota Vikings, as an expansion team, won in their first game ever. But how about Fran Tarkenton, a rookie coming off the bench to throw 4 touchdowns, would run for another, and Minnesota is still the only expansion team to win their first game, as both expansion teams lost today. Jacksonville lost to Houston, and Carolina lost to Atlanta. 4th and a couple. And penalty flags fly as Kramer eventually just took the snap and fell forward for the yardage, but will check the flag. Bears indicating that the Vikings were offside.
That was crafty by Kramer to draw those guys off, and then if he didn't draw them, he snuck it anyway and zipped up there for the first down.
First down.
Ron Bloom gives us the signal, and on the offside penalty, a first down coming up for Chicago. First penalty of the game assessed to the Vikings. And now the referees will stop play again. This is the 10th play of this drive coming up.
Please limit the game clock to 1:57.
And they're going to add some time onto the clock. This has been a 4.5-minute drive sustained by the Bears here as we close out the first half. So with 1:57 to play and 3 timeouts belonging to each side, the Bears have it 1st and 10 inside the Viking 25. Robert Green down to the 5-yard line. 18-yard run by Robert Green.
And the Bears offense really hypnotized the Vikings defense on that play. The way they did it, the snake charmer they used was a 3 wide receiver formation, not a running formation for the Bears. That's when the Bears passed. They brought 3 wides out, Robert Green, and then zipped him right up the middle.
And a 1st and goal from the 5. Kramer to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Conway. His 2nd of the day.
This Kramer-Conway connection is something that if you ask any of the Bears players or coaching staff, they would say, hey, this is a hot combination. These two guys are starting to know each other. They're both excellent players who just needed to learn the system. I don't know how many people believed them before today, but they're starting to believe them now.
Butler on to tack on the extra point. An 11-play drive covering 81 yards and 5:19 off the clock. And on the 5-yard pass from Kramer, Conway has his second of the day.
Up at the top of the screen, Conway bangs into Donald Frank, a physical corner. He out-physicals him for 6 points.
Out-physicals him. 14-14 at the end of the half, 1:12 to go. Entertainment Weekly says that if you're sick of Seinfeld, switch over to New York Undercover, TV's funkiest cop show. While the other networks are showing reruns, Fox has brand new action-packed episodes of New York Undercover, Thursday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Curtis Conway's had a big day, 4 catches, 92 yards, and a couple of touchdowns.
I think Curtis Conway really has arrived. He's a guy who was dormant in his first 2 seasons. The difference this year has been that he took every snap in training camp, every snap in practice, and he was outstanding day after day.
Sauerbrunn to kick it away for the Bears. We're tied at 14. Ismail. Out to his own 29. Brought down by Dwayne Joseph and Minifield. 1:05 to go, and if anybody can move a team down the field with 3 timeouts and 1:05 on the clock, it's got to be Warren Moon.
It is, especially with the 3 wide receivers that he has. Chris Carter, Jake Reed, Kadri Ismail. Those guys are competent, they're fast, they catch the ball.
We would like to thank the Blockbuster Video Blimp for providing Fox Sports with these beautiful aerial shots for today's game. And Warren Moon will look for some aerial shots with 1:05 to go in the first half. Over the middle finds Amp Lee, brought down at the 39. And a 2nd down and 1 coming up for Minnesota. Dwayne Joseph, an extra defensive back, on the tackle. On 2nd down, Moon shakes a sack and gets rid of it. And now a flag flies, and Mangum came in and hit Moon.
But I think the flag is going to be against Warren Moon.
It is.
Yeah. Originally, you see the flag and you think it's Mangum hitting him in the head because of all this talk about the new rule. But Moon takes the shot for Mangum. It's a clean shot. It's a legal shot. And then he just tries to dump that ball off.
Lost down. There you go. 3rd down.
Mangum comes absolutely untouched from the right-hand side of the screen. And he almost misses this. He almost loses it. Thank goodness he hangs on to Moon's ankle, because if he doesn't hang on to the ankle right there, Moon just keeps his feet and he looks for his receiver.
Big play as you also have the loss of down. So now 3rd and 12, and the 3rd sack of the day by the Bears.
Boy, you talk about pass rush, and certainly 3 sacks by halftime indicates a pretty good pass rush. Thing is, though, if you think about it, at least 2 of them were where nobody was blocked. Spellman really didn't get blocked, and then Mangum on this one doesn't get blocked.
Minnesota has been charged with a timeout, so they're left with 2, and they'll put 10 seconds back on the clock, leaving 38 seconds to go in the half, with the game tied at 14. Coming up on the Dockers halftime, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have all the scores and highlights from the first week of the 1995 NFL season. That's all coming up on the Dockers halftime.
Well, Minnesota first half has answered their questions. They've run the ball, and Warren Moon has obviously flipped the switch. He flipped the switch. He turned himself on. He brought himself up from the problems of his preseason. We've seen him throwing some nice footballs, a nice touchdown pass, and we've seen the run game with Robert Smith really emerge for these Vikings.
Meanwhile, the Bears have answered, and we're 14-14 with 38 seconds to go in the first half. And that Bears front has answered some questions. 3 sacks in the first half. Warren Moon 6 out of 8 in the half for 65 yards and a touchdown. And a 3rd and 12 facing the Vikings. 6 defensive backs into the game for Chicago. Penalty flag on the play. Moon has a free play, and he finds Amp Lee. Brought down at the 34, and it looked like the Bears jumped as they were bringing the blitz. Barry Minter, number 92, was a little anxious.
You come up there as a linebacker, and you get a chance to get up there in the mix with the lineman. And on the right-hand side of the screen, there he is, 92. Minter, he just goes a little bit too far. He's a little bit too anxious, and he draws the penalty. Then Moon does the smart thing. He just goes for it because he knows he's either going to get 5 from the penalty or he's going to get more if he completes the long ball.
Repeat third down.
So a pickup of 5, 29 seconds to go. 2 timeouts for Minnesota, and they're still faced with a 3rd and 7. 14-14 game, under a half minute to go in the first half. Amp Lee, the lone setback behind Moon. Ismail, a first down catch and brought down at the 45. Big Al Fontenot out there defending for the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears, that's a zone blitz where you send a cover guy in on the pass rush and then you replace him in the zone with a defensive lineman.
Rick Cunningham injured on the play, and the Vikings have called a timeout, so now they're thinking points. They have a first down after the pickup of 12. Just shy of their own 45-yard line and a timeout left.
And you've got to think points when you have receivers with the speed of a guy like Qadry Ismail and Jake Reed. Those guys are burners. They can get down there, get behind the defense, get you a touchdown or get you into field goal range.
And when you have one of the best kickers in football in Fuad Revez, who is trying to tie an NFL record with his first field goal attempt today, you always have to be thinking points when you have these kind of weapons that the Vikings have at the end of a half.
The interesting thing about Fuad Revez that is that he's not as superstitious as a lot of kickers are. A lot of kickers have superstitions about the socks that they wear or the way that they warm up. But this guy here, he just believes that he could do anything he wants. He pushes it out of his mind. This is the only superstition he has. He doesn't have one. He just has to think about God, and he's one of those guys that just clears his mind. And that's how he personally has been so successful.
Cunningham still down as the medical staff for Minnesota looks him over, and here's what happened.
Yeah, 67 right there in the middle. Oh, he catches it from Mangum, 26, and that's a classic knee getting blown out. I mean, you don't know if it's blown out, but that's how it happens. The foot is planted, somebody hits you right on the side.
So Corey Stringer, who is a big rookie, 6'4", 332 pounds, out of Ohio State. That's a lot of Stringer. He will come in as we close out the first half. 22 seconds to go, and what a big test for the rookie here.
Yeah, the Vikings like to play their first round, their early round draft choices right away. They like to throw them in the mix. Todd Stussy, the left tackle, number 73, they did it with him last year. You see him there helping up Cunningham, 73. They just threw him into the mix and said, let's just let him learn on the job. They weren't going to do it with Corey Stringer because he had some injuries in the preseason and he didn't get as many reps as they would have liked. But hey, now he's going to get tested.
So Rick Cunningham is carted away as Mangum catches him in the knee, and Corey Stringer will take over at the right tackle spot.
Now we'll see what Alonzo Spellman can really do, because now he's got a rookie in Corey Stringer, a rookie to work against, and a rookie who has not had a lot of experience in the NFL, even in training camp.
Those carts are bad news. When you're on one of those carts, that's a bad sign. Stringer takes over, and there goes Cunningham. First down, just shy of their own 45 for Minnesota. Tie game, 22 seconds to go and 1 timeout remaining for the Vikings. Amp Lee in the backfield behind Warren Moon. A 4 wide receiver set for the Vikings. Big pressure put on by Spellman, and from the other side, the sack for Flanagan.
Boy, I love to see a guy like Flanagan get a sack, because he gets so excited. If you look, he's just pumped up, huge smile, pressure everywhere, and all over the field.
You called it with Spellman against Stringer. This is the initial pressure.
Yeah, just slaps his hands, rips him right over, right around. Stringer even tries to tackle him. Spellman forces Moon to step up, and Flanagan just scrapping and fighting. He's right there. Look at him. That's a great thing to see as a defensive lineman.
Chicago will receive the second half kickoff. That's the end of the first half with a score. Minnesota and Chicago tied at 14. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with a Dockers halftime coming up after this word.
Halftime is brought to you by Dockers Khakis, proud makers of nice pants.
Back here in Hollywood for the Dockers halftime report, along with Jimmy, Howie, and Terry. I'm James Brown. The game you're watching right now, all tied at the half between the Vikings and the Bears. Eric Kramer looking good. 2 touchdown tosses in that first half. Other game to pass along to you at the half, Redskins and Arizona.
When you're playing aggressive, over-pursuing defense like the Cardinals, what you'd like to do is reverses. Terry Allen hands off, a reverse to Michael Westbrook, the rookie. There he goes, 58 yards. He's Schuler with a great block downfield. Washington up 10-0 until this touchdown pass from Dave Craig, 3 yards to Oscar McBride. He gets behind the secondary. 10-7. Schuler leaves the game in the second quarter. As you see him flinch there, JB, with his right shoulder. He's being x-rayed. We'll find out more about this for the second half.
He was only 5 of 12 at that point. All right, another early action score to pass along. San Francisco and New Orleans, Howie.
Yeah, Steve Young warming up. He says he's got a lot of mouths to feed. You better feed this guy. Jerry Rice on a 50-yard TD. Who springs him? John Taylor blocking Eric Allen on this 50-yard TD. Puts him up 7-0. Steve Young going to drop back, find William Floyd on a 4-yard TD, fresh back from sprained knee ligaments. Hadn't played in preseason. Here comes Jim Everett, 29 yards. Beats Eric Davis with Michael Haynes, 24-22. And on the last play of the game, Eric Davis has an opportunity to redeem himself, and does. Jim Everett and the Saints fall short.
Well-played game. Both quarterbacks strong stats there, Howie, as well. Other scores are passed along to you. San Diego and Oakland all tied. That one at halftime. Sean Jefferson with the touchdown catch there for San Diego. Kansas City and Seattle. Boy, the Chiefs all over the Seahawks. Big first half by Bono, 9 of 11, 161 yards. Carolina and Atlanta.
Don Capers watching as Jeff George hooks up with Bert Emanuel, top of your screen. Plenty of time to throw. George, 1 of 2 TD passes on the day. 20-13 Falcons. Now coming back. Willie Green, 44-yard TD reception from Frank Wright. Also his second touchdown pass of the day. This ties the game up, but Derek Graham, the right tackle, false starts, can't go for 2. Goes into overtime. There it is. Morton Anderson, 35 yards. As you see it, Falcons 23, Panthers 20.
The golden toe of Anderson. And take a look at this score. The Jets all tied with the Dolphins. That one late in the second. More scores on a halftime report after this. Back here in Hollywood for the Dockers halftime report, along with Jimmy, Howie, and Terry. I'm James Brown. Let's bring you up to date on scores around the league, including an outstanding game played in Pittsburgh today.
Steeler fans all dressed up, ready to go to war. So it's Van Morris over the top. 1 of 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. Steelers up 20-10. Herman Moore, a big day receiving for the Lions as he catches 31-yard touchdown from Mitchell. 10 catches, 131 yards. Then with 3 seconds left, Game all tied at 20 all. Norm Johnson with this 31-yard field goal, JB. Steelers win it 23-20.
Barry Sanders, 21 carries for 109 yards in a losing effort there. Houston and Jacksonville.
Yeah, this cat can keep this ball. The big man's not taking that one. Chris Chandler drops back. He hits Hayward Jeffries from 4 yards out for the early lead, and that was enough. Chris Chandler left the game with a shoulder contusion. 10-3 Oilers in that barn burner.
Gary Brown, 101 yards on the ground for Houston in that effort. St. Louis and Green Bay, Jimmy.
Big day for St. Louis. Here Isaac Bruce, a wideout on the punt block team, blocks the punt. It's unusual to see a wide receiver on a punt block team. But Isaac Bruce goes back in, plays a little wide receiver, catches a touchdown pass from Chris Miller, puts St. Louis up 7-0. Chris Miller's a happy guy, and he's even happier now because he's going to throw it into the end zone for fastest man in the NFL, Alexander Wright, 30-yard touchdown catch. St. Louis wins 17-14.
Rams victory despite a poor effort by Jerome Bettis, only 7 carries, 4 yards on the afternoon. Bengals and Colts, Jimmy.
Big comeback for Indianapolis. Jim Harbaugh replaced Craig Erickson, who had 3 interceptions. He throws into the end zone for Flipper Anderson, 5-yard touchdown. Now he goes for 2 points. Harbaugh throwing in the end zone. Floyd Turner ties it up 21-21. They're happy on the Indianapolis sideline. They're not going to be real happy with this one, though. Doug Pelfrey kicks the winning field goal in overtime.
Jeff Blake, an impressive performance, 19 of 33, 249 yards for the Cincinnati Bengals. Cleveland and New England, Bledsoe breaking the jinx.
Big day for Bledsoe, over 300 yards, no INTs. But here, Vinny Testaverde hits Michael Jackson for the bomb over Maurice Hurst, 14-6 Cleveland. Patriots rookie Curtis Martin, who Bill Parcells loves a lot, has to like him to start him as a rookie, puts him up. They go for 2 in the waning seconds of the game. Final on that one, 17-14. Big game, Foxborough.
Why does Bill Parcells like him as a rookie? Curtis Martin, 19 carries, 102 yards in that winning effort. Tampa Bay with the upset over Philly.
Trent Dilfer down the middle finds Jackie Harris, 12-yard TD reception. Tampa Bay 14-6. And then Eric Rett down the middle, 26 carries for 86 yards on the day. Tampa Bay wins it 21-6 and a stunner.
Whole Hummer day for Ricky Waters, 17 carries for only 37 yards. And the Dockers halftime report will continue with more after this.
Minnesota and Chicago tied at 14 as we get ready for the start of the second half. Joe Buck back with you along with my partner Tim Green, who some of you may know is an author during his spare time. He's had a couple of novels published. A new feature this year with our group, Tim Green's Book Gone, and his first feature features the middle linebacker Jack Del Rio.
Jack Del Rio's book reads like a volume on hard work and perseverance. While bouncing between New Orleans, Kansas City, and Dallas, the bright moments were few and far between. When Del Rio's defensive coordinator in Dallas, Dave Wannstedt, left to take charge of the Bears, Jack figured to go along. Wannstedt, however, told him that he'd already seen his best years in Dallas. This rejection lit a new fire in Jack Del Rio that burns to this day. His best games since have come against the Bears, helping him after 10 years to make that elusive trip to his first Pro Bowl.
And Jack Del Rio's having another big day. 7 tackles today at that middle linebacker spot for the Vikings.
You know, players use a lot of different things to get them pumped up, to get them inspired for a game. And really, nothing could be more inspirational than a coach that said, you know, you've had enough, your better days are behind you. The other thing Jack Del Rio uses to get pumped up is a personal trainer, Keith Whitley, in the offseason, and he get together and they talk about the Civil War. And he's kind of a Civil War buff, Jack Del Rio. And he thinks about the game like a battle. He thinks about tackling running backs like taking a hill. He thinks about the duration of the game like the duration of a war. And using that mentality has enabled him to really excel in the latter years of his career.
Well, if you didn't believe me that Tim Green's an author in his spare time, you believe me now. Fuad Revay is ready to kick it away for Minnesota. Is that all you can come up with?
No, I can keep going.
No, that's okay. Michael Timpson is back deep for Chicago from outside of his own 10-yard line. Wrestled down by the neck by Corey Fuller, and the Bears will have it across their own 30. First and 10 as we give you a look at the first half numbers, and the yards in the air by the Bears are most impressive.
Yeah, that's the thing that jumps right out at you is here's the Bears passing yards, 153 to the Vikings 49. That's a number that you would expect to be flipped. You'd expect the Vikings with that 3 wide receiver offense to have much more than the Bears in the air.
First down for Chicago at their own 33. First play is a pass. It's complete to Graham. Knocked out of bounds by Dwayne Washington across the 40.
The Bears started out the game with their offense throwing the ball. Now in the second half, we see them doing the same thing. They want to keep this very aggressive, very capable Minnesota defense off guard.
Pickup of 6 on first down. The completion to Graham, and now Lewis Tillman checks out. He limps off the field. Bears have already lost Raymond Harris with a broken collarbone early in the first half. On second down, Salam brought down in midfield, and a first down for the Bears.
And this isn't even Salam's strength. Salam's strength is not running up the middle, even though he does a fine job on that play, giving the juke, making the first guy miss, and then picking up big yards. There it is, that quick wiggle like a worm on a fishing hook. But his real strength is when he gets to the perimeter. When he runs outside, he can make things happen.
What good work up front by the left guard, Todd Perry, on Esera Chuaolo. And Rashaan Salam, 3 carries, 15 yards. The last one good for 10 and a first down for the Bears. To the sideline, Graham again. And a nice pickup on first down, brought out of bounds at the 44-yard line, again by Dwayne Washington.
And the reason the Bears have done so well with their passing game this game is Eric Kramer's timing with his receivers. He's got the timing down. He's reacting. He's not thinking out there. He's just playing by instinct.
32 yards on the day for Graham. 6 on that last catch, 2nd and 4. Graham again. What a throw, and knocked out of bounds inside the 20. Donald Frank there defending along with Washington, and a pickup of 24.
And there's that Chicago Bears play pass. A big, probably the most important part of their game plan coming in today, because the play pass gives the quarterback time and it allows Conway to get deep. Run the guy deep, run the over the top coverage deep so that Graham can sneak underneath.
Now Salam on first down. What a move, and down inside the 15. Knocked down at the 11. And good blocking up front by the left side of that Bears offensive line.
Good blocking up front, but don't think that they don't like blocking for Salam, because a runner can really make you look better as a blocker, because he will draw the defender to one side with that juke and then split back the other way quick.
Second down for Chicago. Again. Cutback and down inside the 5 at the 2.
That's a big man carrying the football right down the middle of the field. Rashaan Salam is really starting to emerge. Dave Wannstedt has got to be thrilled. I have the feeling we're going to see this move from 31 right in the middle of the screen over and over again this season. Look at the juke. Look at the footwork that he has. And then he lowers his shoulder and gets 4 more after the initial hit.
For Salam, 5 carries, 32 yards. And he's back in there along with Flanagan, lining up as the fullback. Little play action, and Jennings is all alone. Touchdown, Chicago. You give to Salam, you give to Salam, you give to Salam, then you fake it to him, and your tight end's wide open.
And you're defensively, Dennis Green's got to respect Salam up the middle because he was doing such a wonderful job with it. And if anybody doubted that Eric Kramer didn't earn the position at quarterback during the preseason, they certainly know he's earned it now.
Butler on to tack on the extra point. And whistles before the snap. Penalty flags fly. We mentioned it in passing earlier. Let's talk again about Rashaan Salam. And Dave Wanstead said, you know what? This is going to cost the Bears 5 yards. If we didn't play Rashaan Salam in this first game, it would go against everything we've done since we've taken over here in Chicago. He's the guy to get us to the next level.
Right. For the Bears to become not just a playoff team, but a Super Bowl contender, this guy, 31 Salam, has to emerge like a Marshall Faulk, like a Barry Sanders, like an Emmitt Smith. Dave Wanstead believes in Rashaan Salam. He believes he's the future of the Bears.
Now Butler to tack on the extra point from 25 yards away, and he is perfect as usual. A 7-play drive covering 66 yards. 3 minutes, 22 seconds off the clock. The fake to Salam, and Keith Jennings is saying, over here, Eric, I'll give the Bears a 21-14 lead.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Mitsubishi, the new thinking in automobiles. By Red Dog Beer, bold yet smooth, unusually easy to drink. You are your own dog. By Allied Signals Fram Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Dockers Flat Front Khakis, proud makers of nice pants.
Only 4 times all of last year did the Bears score 21 points or more. They lead 21-14, and Ismail from his goal line, needing a big return, and getting a big return out near the 30. Ron Turner has got to be thrilled with what he is seeing from Kramer, what he's seeing from his receivers, and Salam today.
And he had to be a little worried coming into this game because in the preseason, the Bears offense scored less than any other team in the NFL. You talk about Warren Moon flipping the switch and all of a sudden appearing and putting up the kind of numbers you'd expect. This Chicago Bears offense, Ron Turner's offense, has flipped the switch as well.
28 yards.
Corey Stringer is still at right tackle for Minnesota after Cunningham left with the left knee problem. After the 28-yard return by Ismail, 1st and 10 for the Vikings. Down by 7. To the sideline and caught by Jake Reed. Wrestled out of bounds at the 40 with a Minnesota first down. 12-yard throw from Moon to Reed.
I know the Vikings came into this game wanting to run the football, control the football, but you get the sense now that they've got to go back and start dancing with the girl that brought them to the dance, which is the pass game. Warren Moon getting the ball downfield to their receiver.
Still no further word on the injury to Rick Cunningham, but he is out and Stringer is in. Pump fake by Moon, and he airs it out. Carter had his hands all over Donnell Wolford, who was there with him step for step, and maybe a test for Moon's arm, and he underthrew Chris Carter.
Well, and Wolford wants a penalty, and I think Wolford should get the penalty on this because Carter can go for the ball, but he can't shove and push Wolford. Wolford turns, he does the nice thing, he grabs hold of him. Carter look at, he's got his jersey. That's a penalty.
But on the far side of the field, a penalty called against the Chicago defense.
Look at his hand is all over Wolford's jersey. That's an obvious call, and the ref is standing right there.
Ron Bloom gave the call on a defensive hold against the Bears, costing him 10 and an automatic first down, but not on the play that we showed you with Wolford and Carter. From the 46 on first down. Carter in the middle of the field, another first down catch. Marty Carter beaten on the play.
Carter in the slot will usually be double teamed. And he's got 2 defenders eyeing him here. But what he does is he gets between them, and that's his knack. Getting between, finding the gap, just slipping in there nice and easily, and then Moon's timing is right on.
Got behind Joseph, got in front of Carter. And a first down catch, and now the give to Robert Smith. Penalty flag on the play, and Smith picked up a nice carry across the right side, but this is coming back. Robert Smith, who had such a very good first half.
10 yards, repeat first down.
And the big pickup will come back and cost the Vikings 10 on the whole.
First and 20.
Well, Christie right in the middle is working Al Fontenot. Watch the double team with Chris Hinton. They absolutely bury Fontenot. Double team came from the other side. They just wax it right out of there, and that's what opens the hole.
And it was a hold on Hinton, which brought the play back. First and 20 after the hole. Robert Smith on the draw. He's had a nice game. A referee goes flying with a play, and Smith brought down inside the Bears' 45-yard line, tackled by Mangum. Pickup of 8, 2nd and 12 coming up.
Minnesota has 2nd and 13 at the Bears 44.
What a game. First game of the entire season. No preseason, no nothing.
Yeah, that's why it's so surprising to be able to not practice very much at all and come in and just hit your stride, put those kind of numbers on the board.
On 2nd down, Moon sets up the screen to Amp Lee. Down inside the 40 at the Bear 38.
You got to see a little bit of what Amp Lee brings to this offense as a runner. Not tremendous speed, not tremendous power, but a very slippery, very elusive guy, like an eel on in the bottom of your boat. You just can't get a handle on him. He's twisting, he's turning, and he's hard to bring down.
Pickup of 6 on that last play. And a 3rd and 7. Moon has Reed all alone. A penalty flag on the play. A first down catch, and will check the marker. Jeremy Lincoln there defending for Chicago, and what will the call be? Bears indicating this is coming back as well. Offensive pass interference.
It's a good thing for the Bears that they got the penalty on Jake Reed on that play.
Pass interference, 86 offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
This is the case of a blitz going awry. You see all the Bears defenders, they isolate Jeremy Lincoln on Jake Reed one-on-one. He's man-to-man because of all the pass rush. There's the push right there just before the ball is thrown.
So the 17-yard pickup wiped out by the penalty. And it brings up a 3rd and 17. From the Chicago 48. Moon to run. Mangum brings him down shy of a first down. Shy by about 5 yards. And it looks like the Vikings will punt.
That's a nice open field tackle by John Mangum. I can promise you that it's a very uncomfortable feeling as a defender in the National Football League to see Warren Moon coming at you with those quick feet and just nothing else around him except green grass. It's one where you have to focus in, really concentrate to make that tackle.
Vikings will punt. Saxon back to do it for Minnesota.
Right for the corner.
And they will mark it outside the 10, outside the 15, at the 19-yard line. Not a very good punt by Saxon. One of the best in the NFL, this time not too good. The Bears have it 1st and 10 at their own 19, and they lead by 7. Joe Buck and Tim Green back with you. A lot of monitors, a little cardboard.
Well, I mean, what is this? This is supposed to be a big-time network broadcast, and you got cardboard and duct tape. You don't even have all the same kind of tape here.
It was delivered in 30 minutes or less. So
what a great game. I mean, opening day, Soldier Field, NFC Central, 2 teams, 2 tough teams, black and blue division really going at it. This is fun.
The Bears have it 1st and 10, and they hand it Tillman back in there after leaving with the knee injury. And Tim, I would imagine if you're Louis Tillman and you limp off with a knee problem, you watch Rashaan Salam march the Bears down the field. That knee gets better in a hurry.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely true, because as a player, nothing pushes you harder than a first-round draft pick that they bring in to put behind you in the lineup.
Last 2 possessions for Chicago have resulted in touchdowns. The last one to give them a 7-point lead. Kramer on the rollout finds Graham into Viking territory and out of bounds at the 46. Mincy chased him out of bounds, but Jeff Graham, who was first on this club with 68 catches a year ago, is having a great day.
And once again, we see Eric Kramer selling the play fake, the handoff to Robert Green. He throws this ball behind Jeff Graham. Look at Graham twisting, turning, and pulling that ball in. A receiver like Jeff Graham makes the quarterback look good.
What a trade with Pittsburgh last season to bring in Graham. Now 1st down inside Minnesota territory. This is Green. Robert Green breaks outside and brought down inside the 10. A 38-yard pickup by Robert Green.
We've been calling Todd Perry. We've been calling his name all day long. The young guard right here in the middle of the screen, making a block on John Randall, 93, collapsing one of the best in the game, springing Robert Green, and then Green using those quick feet, but not just quick feet. Watch him here. Look at him put his shoulder down and just blast for 4 more yards.
And now 1st and goal from inside the 10, Rashaan Salam. Down to the 2.
Rashaan Salam is a rookie who looks better in pads than he does in shorts. Almost every other rookie in the league looks better in shorts than pads. The reason why he looks good in pads is because he runs high, he makes the defenders think he's a big target, and then right there at the last second, he lowers the shoulder and lays the head.
Now 2nd down, Salam finds the end zone for a touchdown. The first for the Heisman Trophy winner out of Colorado.
Does this guy have the juice, or does he have the juice? Is he the real thing?
Heisman Trophy winner. What a great debut in the NFL with the Bears.
And now all of a sudden the faceless team starts to emerge like Mount Rushmore.
Looking for that superstar. Maybe hanging some hopes on a rookie running back. Now Butler tacks on the extra point, a 5-play drive covering 81 yards. 2:24 off the clock. And Salam's first touchdown in the NFL, a 3-yard run, and it felt good.
It's really fun to see the joy on the face of a rookie. Rashaan Salam right there, the guy with no hair in the middle of the screen, celebrating with his teammates, really starting to feel a part of it all after a long holdout because of this touchdown today.
And over there with him, Eric Kramer. What a day for Kramer. Everybody really wondering if he was the right guy for this team and for the offense. Well, today he's the right guy.
And a day for Curtis Conway, Jeff Graham, and Todd Perry, an offensive lineman, really showing up, jumping out at him.
Sauerbrunn kicks it away for Chicago. And ladies and gentlemen, the first touchback for the Bears. The first touchback for the Bears since 1993. They didn't have one all of last year, and everything is working today for Chicago.
You talk about how can you justify a second-round pick. You can justify it because the guy can punt and the guy can kick off.
Bears by 14. We've got some action down below this blimp. The Blockbuster Video blimp is touring the U.S. in celebration of Blockbuster Video's 10th anniversary. And there is the epicenter of all the action, Soldier Field.
A wonderful place to play football any time of year. And then today, just a beautiful day.
Beautiful day by the lake. And we thank the Blockbuster Video blimp for all the great pictures. And now what's the strategy for Wanstead's defense?
Dave Wanstead's going to go with 6 defensive backs and defend the pass.
Vikings start out with a run, and Robert Smith doesn't get much. Barry Minter there to force him back, and he had help.
That's a big play for Chicago's defense because, as I said, they've got 6 defensive backs out there. They're playing the pass. When you can play the pass with 6 DBs, 6 small guys, and still defend the run as they did on that play, everything's working.
For the Vikings, 178 total yards, 98 on the ground, only 80 in the air. Moon is 10 out of 12 for 108 yards and a touchdown. 2nd and 8. Incomplete, and looking for Carter right now for a McDonald's game break. We go back to Hollywood for an update from James Brown.
Joe Buck, you mentioned strategy. Take a look at this offensive strategy by Buddy Ryan. Dave Craig pitches to Larry Centers, halfback option. He throws it anyway. Who is he throwing it to? Darrell Green, the veteran, gets it. Still one of the fastest men in the league. Well, where does he go? Hey, maybe a total of 8 yards, but it looked pretty. Washington up 13-7. Back to Joe Buck.
All right, JB. And Buddy Ryan's getting tricky.
Yeah, that's a surprising score.
3rd down, and Moon gets rid of it. Had all kinds of pressure. Minter in his face along with Theory, and it's time for the Vikings to punt.
Now the Chicago Bears defense feels wonderful. They are exhilarated because they've got the Vikings in a passing situation. They can concentrate on the rush. They're ahead, and they don't normally get into that situation.
Talked to Dave Wanstead. He said everybody thinks we don't have a pass rush. So often we were behind last year. Having a pass rush really depends on being ahead, especially at the end of a game. Now Saxon on to punt again for the 6th time. Minnesota's now 2 out of 8 on 3rd down conversion try. From his 40, Graham. Jeff Graham across the 45 and knocked down at the 47. The Bears have it again. A lot of excitement at Soldier Field. The Bears lead by 14. They've got the ball.
If I'm a coach and I'm down by 14 points, this defense is the one that I want to have out on the field. The Minnesota defense, don't forget, the last 3 years, the top scoring defense in the game of football, 17 touchdowns over that period. And when you're down by 14, these are the guys, if anybody can do it, to turn it around and tilt that score back in your favor.
Meanwhile, there's plenty of time left, over 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Bears have their best starting field position of the day. Salam bounces outside and gets it to the 49.
It's not even a huge long run, but Salam did that pose for the Heisman Trophy about 3 times on this play. That stiff arm, there it is, there's 1. Going sideways, there's 2, a stiff arm, then he lowers the boom, lowers the shoulder, not on 1 guy, but on 2 and 3 guys.
This is the best field position of the day for Chicago. They've had touchdown drives, Tim, of 73 yards, 81 yards, 66 yards, and 81 yards. Kramer to throw, and he overthrows his fullback, Tony Carter.
This is what we're going to see from the Vikings. We're going to see them really turning up the burners, turning up the heat, and starting to send guys. They want defenders in the Chicago Bears offense. They want them in that backfield, raising havoc, forcing interceptions, stripping the ball, and getting fumbles.
There's the guy to do it, John Randall, first-team All-Pro, had 13.5 sacks last season. 3rd down and 8. To the sideline, wide open is Conway. Kramer has been good on 8 of his last 9 throws.
And this out pattern is a throw that Steve Walsh has to loop up in the air. He doesn't throw it on a line. Kramer just delivers it right into Conway's hands.
17-yard completion to Conway and another Chicago first down. The ball at the Viking 33. Salam, the tailback, and ball carrier. Inside the 30, and he already shows you he's going to be tough to bring down behind the line of scrimmage.
And he's versatile. The way that he runs is versatile. We've seen him use the stiff arm. We've seen him use that wiggle and the juke. We've seen him lower his shoulder, and we've even seen him backpedal and twist into the end zone.
Coming up on 2 minutes left in the 3rd quarter with the Bears leading 28-14, and the clock is running. 2nd down and 6 for Chicago. We'll call it 7. And the handoff to Robert Green. Short of a first down and brought down inside the Viking 32.
Take a look at Chicago's rushers. Robert Green, 3 carries for 60 yards. Salam, 8 for 41, and Tillman, 8 for 27. That's a lot of territory, a lot of real estate to pick up on the ground.
But remember, the sobering aspect of all this for Chicago is they lost Raymond Harris to a broken collarbone in the 1st quarter. 3rd and 3. Brought down, and a sack for Randall. 13.5 a year ago, his first of 1995, and that's exactly what the Vikings defense needed.
Yeah, they have to get into the Bears, right into the backfield there, and Randall is no doubt the guy to do it. 3 times he's had 3 sacks against the Chicago Bears, and in the past 2 seasons, look at him right up there on top. 26 sacks.
Most in the NFL. And he lines up to defend the punt by Sauerbrunn. Angling for the corner. Poor punt. And Palmer takes it at around his own 17-yard line. So Sauerbrunn can't get it to the corner. And the Vikings, relatively speaking, don't have bad field position. Well, you can explore the mysteries behind the show that's become a national phenomenon and earned an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Dramatic Series, The X-Files. You'll see the most terrifying moments and hear the most chilling stories. The Secrets of the X-Files, tomorrow at 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Fox.
I know that's a promo that you like to do, Joe Buck. You always smile when you get to do the X-Files. Now tell us why.
I scare easily. First down for Minnesota at their own 17. And the delayed handoff to Robert Smith. Good cutback and across the 20.
Bears defense will take this all day. They will let the Minnesota Vikings run the ball, pick up a few yards. The thing that they're most worried about is that deep ball, that long ball to Kadri Ismail, Jake Reed, or Chris Carter.
15 seconds and counting left in the 3rd quarter. And we may have seen our last play of the quarter. The Vikings do not have to snap it. What a good 3rd quarter for Chicago. They just do get the play away, and Robert Smith will try the right end. Strung out by Wolford, and what a good play to end the 3rd quarter. And a 3rd down facing Minnesota when we start the final quarter of action here on opening day at Soldier Field. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with a score. Chicago 28, Minnesota 14. Back after this on Fox. What a way to start here in Chicago for the home team, the Bears, here at Soldier Field. A beautiful day by Lake Michigan. And for Bears fans, a beautiful day on the scoreboard. 28-14 as we start the fourth quarter. Vikings have the ball with a 3rd and 4. And the Vikings are only 2 out of 8 on 3rd down conversion attempts in this game. Ismail in motion. Jake Reed all alone. And a first down catch by Reed, who was the other half of that combination with Chris Carter a year ago. Reed caught 85 balls. And the two of them together, 207 total.
You know, with this 14-point deficit in the fourth quarter, now we're going to really find out where Warren Moon's shoulder is. If it's completely healthy, we know it's not. We know it's 90%, but we'll find out now if it's 90 or 80 or even 70, because now is when it gets sore and tired.
1st and 10 for the Vikings. Over the middle. Out of the backfield, it's Amp Lee, and he runs into Carrier, and Flanagan, and Joseph after a pickup of only 3.
Whenever you see a defensive lineman like Flanagan making a tackle, even though it's a short pass, that tells you one thing. That tells you hustle, complete hustle, because it means that after the ball is thrown, Flanagan is spinning and running to the ball.
2nd down for Minnesota. Ball resting at their own 34. On 2nd and 7, the give to Robert Smith. Across the 40, brought down shy of a first down. 3rd down coming up. A McDonald's game break. A Washington-Arizona update from James Brown.
Hey, Joe, we showed you the Darrell Green interception of that Larry Sanders pass. Well, Gus Farrat shows why Washington fans want him as a starter. 73 yards to a wide-open Leslie Shepard. Washington on top, 20-7. Back to Joe and Tim.
So the Redskins running it up on the Cardinals.
And he did say Gus Farrat.
Schuler out with the injury. Here it's 3rd and 1. And Moon carries it forward for a first down.
That's a play that you can be almost assured the Vikings are going to get. They're going to make the first down because Warren Moon in front of him. Jeff Christie's a solid center, but he has maybe, I think, the best combination of guards in the game. Hinton 78 there, driving. Randall McDaniel 64. Those guys can give you a better surge up the middle as guards than any combination of guards in the league.
Lee and Evans in the backfield on first down for Minnesota, down by 14. Play action. All alone is Carter. Good move inside and down inside the 25-yard line. How can Chris Carter be that wide open?
Well, when he's that wide open, you have to believe that somebody made a mistake. Somebody wasn't where they should have been. When he's splitting the coverage and splitting a small seam between players, that's one thing. On this play, he just gets dropped by 32 Dwayne Joseph. There's no one out there, and you've got to believe that Joseph has to stay with him.
Meanwhile, Minter, the linebacker, had to come all the way back on the play and make the tackle. There's the day for Carter, 78 yards on 4 catches. That was good for 34 yards. And now Robert Smith on first down inside the 20. And what an impressive drive put on by the Vikings, down by 2 touchdowns.
The Vikings offense, Dennis Green is showing complete patience. They're not panicking at all, and they're working the ball down the field very methodically, mixing up the run and the pass quite nicely. You wouldn't know that they were down by 14.
Pickup of 6 on that carry by Robert Smith, who's had a good first day. 2nd and 4. To the left side. Penalty flag, and there might be a hold on Carter. The wide receiver out making a block. Flags fly, and this is most likely coming back.
I think the hold is going to be on Adrian Cooper, the tight end, and he grabbed a hold of John Theory, number 94 for the Bears.
At any rate, it's coming back. They tried the left side, and the hold is the call, costing the Vikings a nice pickup on 2nd down. Here's Ron Bloom.
Holding, 87 offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
Right you are. Adrian Cooper is guilty.
Now watch him on Theory, number 94. He hooks that left hand onto Theory's shoulder. Look at him pull him down just like it's a professional wrestling match.
And then you see Chris Carter toward the left of your screen. He had a hold of a jersey as well. Flags were flying from all angles, and that brings up a second down and 14. The ball at the Chicago 29. And Moon needs a timeout. And an official just blew a whistle right in my ear. 10.5 to go in the fourth quarter. The Vikings will talk it over. Second and long coming up. Bears lead by 14.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Sharp Electronics Corporation. From sharp minds comes sharp products. By Coast Deodorant Soap, that bold scent and big lather make Coast the eye-opener. And by Budget Car and Truck Rental, all the difference in the world.
Back to Soldier Field. Next week, it's Fox NFL Sunday, when most of you will see the Lions battle Minnesota or other exciting regional action. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area.
You gotta love this Central Division and all these matchups early on. Detroit, Minnesota, and Chicago. And Chicago's going to face Tampa in a couple weeks, and Tampa Bay really picked it up today with that surprise win. I think Trent Dilfer is the real deal. As Rashawn Salam's the real deal for Chicago, Trent Dilfer is the deal for Tampa Bay.
Second and long for the Vikings. Cutting across the middle, it's Jake Reed. He gets a big hit by Dwayne Joseph and brought down just shy of the Bear 20-yard line. A pickup of 8 and a third down coming up for Minnesota. 3rd and 6 confronting Warren Moon. Coming up on the 10-minute mark in the fourth quarter, and the Bears lead 28-14. A long 10 minutes for Dave Wanstedt and the Bears. Moon to the sideline, David Palmer, and I believe he is short of a first down. He is. The strong tackle by Wolford, and it will be 4th and short for the Vikings.
That play comes from having a guy like Donnell Wolford, a cornerback who hits like a safety, because Palmer's got this ball. Moon does what he has to do. Palmer's right there at the marker, but instead of getting a soft tackleback cornerback, Wolford bangs him right in the hip, knocks him off balance, prevents this from being a first down.
Yeah, it only took that one hit to bring him down, and now on 4th and inches, 4th and less than a yard, the Vikings will go for it. Penalty flag on the play. The play clock had expired, and we'll see if the Vikings got it away with any time left on the play clock. It shows 0 right now.
The Vikings starting to move Chris Hinton around the line. On the pass play and the play before, Hinton went out to tackle.
Snap, delay game, offense, 5 yards, repeat 4.
What a big penalty that is. Instead of 4th and 1, that makes it 4th and 6. Sixth penalty called against the Vikings
and
today.
now it's a passing down, and Chris Hinton, 78, is going to slide back out to tackle.
Fourth down for Minnesota. This drive is covered almost 6 minutes. 4th and 6. Pass behind Ampley, incomplete, and the Bears will get it. The turnover on downs, and Dwayne Joseph there on the coverage of Ampley. Dave Wanstead's Chicago Bear defense holds. So the Bears have the ball in a 14-point lead under 9 to go.
The big challenge today for Chicago's defense was their pass rush, and it is their pass rush that saves this 4th down play. Fontenot, 96, actually leaping and tipping Moon's pass, resulting in the incomplete ball here.
So Fontenot stopping it on that pass attempt to Ampli. And the Bears get it as the Vikings turn it over on downs and hand to Lewis Tillman.
And if you wonder why Tillman's carrying the ball instead of Rashaan Salaam, we said earlier that in the critical situations they were going to go back with the experienced veteran Lewis Tillman. It's critical now because the last thing they want is a fumble.
Salaam fumbled twice during the preseason, although not known as a fumbler during his college days at Colorado. On 2nd down, Tillman again, a little cutback, and he got it across the 20.
The ball carrier.
Yeah, Salaam is not a fumbler, but you have to remember he's still a rookie, and he did have those 2 preseason fumbles. That's not to say that he's a guy who's going to fumble the ball a lot, because he's not. But hey, they've got the 14-point lead. Dave Wanstead is a conservative guy. Don't give it up. Don't give up the cheap one. Just hold on to the ball, run out the clock.
3rd down and 9 for Chicago from their own 21. Kramer, Timpson. His first catch as a Bear is a big one. And from where the official's putting his foot, it looks like a Chicago 1st down.
And you saw Harlan Barnett, number 42, with the coverage on Timpson. These 2 guys played against each other, played with each other in New England. Both pickups in free agency in the offseason. And Harlan Barnett told us yesterday that he warned the secondary, watch Timpson. Don't let him lull you to sleep. He's a talented guy with speed who will get open.
What a great first catch for Timpson. He caught 74 balls last year, a 1st down grab. Now Kramer buys time, rolls out, finds Graham, who's across the 40. And close to another Chicago 1st down, and that would be, if it is a 1st down, the Bears' 10th of the day.
The Bears really, their offense has made a living on the play action today, selling the run, Kramer rolling, throwing, all timing. The timing is there for this Bears offense, and you have to believe that they're on track and they're going to keep going, not only in this game, but the whole season.
Graham sat down right at the marker, got 10, got a 1st down, so a fresh set of downs for Eric Kramer. Salaam. Pickup of only a couple over the left side.
We talked about the loss of Raymond Harris. Dave Wanstead has to be thrilled with the way the run game has come on today to see the depth in the Chicago Bears offense, because Willie Green and Lewis Tillman, Rashaan Salaam, they have all picked up and filled that gap that Raymond Harris has left with his broken collarbone.
Salaam has had a big day. He picked up 3, 2nd and 7. Carter to the 45. Picked up only a couple. And a 3rd down coming up for this Chicago offense, and a big, big 3rd down coming up for this Minnesota defense. And remember, Minnesota is left with only 2 timeouts. Warren Moon had to call a timeout on their last possession. Third down for Eric Kramer and the Bears. 4 out of 9 on 3rd down. 3rd and 6. Conway threw his hands, and it's time to punt. Kramer got it there, and it went right through the hands of Curtis Conway.
He got it there, but he did deliver it behind Conway. He made that a very difficult catch. Really the first catch we've seen Conway miss today.
Time for Sauerbrunn and the Chicago Bears to punt. 5:10 to play, and the Bears leading by 14. High snap. Very good punt. Palmer from inside his 20. Tough to find, and he's brought down at the 29-yard line. Can the Minnesota Vikings punch it in twice in the final 5 minutes? That's up to Moon and the Vikings. Bears by 14. The Blockbuster video blimp is based in Orlando, Florida, and we look forward to seeing the Blockbuster blimp at future Fox Sports events. We thank them for their beautiful pictures on a great day in Chicago, Illinois. Hey, Tim, in the Steelers' 23-20 win over the Lions, All-Pro Rod Woodson, the cornerback, tore an ACL in his knee, and the quote from head coach Bill Cowher to our studio in Hollywood, it looks like Rod might be gone for the season. What a big loss for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They start 1-0. Moon airs it out, and he overthrows everybody. Carter, the intended receiver, and you don't see Moon miss his receiver by that much very often.
Yeah, you really don't, because Carter and Moon really are working together and have worked together last season to pull out the big play, especially when they need it, and they need it now. I mean, you either cut the corn and bring the crops in, or else it's over.
4:52 to left to go in the fourth quarter. 28-14, Chicago. That's Carter in motion. Lee fell down, and it's intercepted. Joseph the other way. Down at the 5. Ampley lost his footing again, and Dwayne Joseph was there for the easy interception and the 30-yard return.
It's a timing pass, and that's absolutely it. When you throw the timing pass, you've got to believe that your receiver is going to be there, and Ampley wasn't there for one reason only. You said it. He slips on the turf, loses his footing. Dwayne Joseph just keeps going, pulls it in, really effectively ends this game.
The 30-yard return down to the 5, and with 4:42 left, the Bears have a 14-point lead and the ball. First and goal at the Viking 5. And now that Viking defense looking for one of those big turnovers. Tillman with the sure hands down inside the 5. Only a pickup of a couple.
It's just as important now for this Bears offense to run the ball and eat up the clock as it is get into the end zone. Getting into the end zone isn't what they need to do. They need to chew up the clock, whittle it down, and then come away with a 3-point sealing this victory for the Bears.
Warren Moon's interception. Return to the 5, and now it's second and goal for the Bears. Tillman again. Met in the backfield and dropped. Out beyond the 5-yard line, Ed McDaniel was there for Minnesota. And now under 4 to play. And Minnesota will spend one of their 2 timeouts remaining. Take a break and come back. Third and goal facing Chicago. The ball at the Minnesota 6. 28-14, the Bears out in front. Time running out on Minnesota.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Volkswagen. On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers. Drivers wanted.
Back at Soldier Field, the Bears have it, a third and goal. The Bears 4 out of 10 on third down today. Third and goal. Three wide receivers line up for Chicago. Caught and dropped. And what good coverage by Broderick Thomas as he hopped onto the back of Jeff Graham at the 4-yard line. And that'll bring up fourth and goal, and that will bring in the field goal unit for the Bears. They'll try to make it a 17-point lead. Kevin Butler. 21 out of 29 last season. His first field goal try of this season. Minnesota has called a timeout, and they're reminding the officials of that. And so they try to ice Butler a little and save time on the clock with 3:39 to go, and the Bears leading 28-14.
You get the feeling that Butler is a hard guy to ice. When you think about kickers and playing head games and kickers being flaky type of characters, Butler is not one of those guys. He's a linebacker who got stuck in the body of a kicker.
Early season, and these two teams get at it quick. Minnesota, maybe the toughest schedule, the first place schedule. Next week at home against Detroit, then at home against Dallas, then at Pittsburgh. For Chicago, a little easier. At home against Green Bay on a Monday night, at Tampa Bay, at St. Louis, and surprisingly, both Tampa Bay and St. Louis were victorious today.
I think a lot of people are going to look at Tampa Bay as a question mark as to whether they can get a win this season.
21-yard attempt by Butler, and the Bears lead by 17. 31-14 with 3:36 to play on opening day at Soldier Field. The Vikings will get it back, left with no timeouts and just over 3.5 minutes on the clock, trying to make up 17 points against what has amounted to a very strong Chicago defense today.
Strong defense and a very potent Chicago offense.
Kick return team talking it over. Gary Zauner, the special teams coach for Minnesota. And an important kick return coming up for the Vikings. They need a big one. They don't have time to try to march it down the field. What a breakthrough day and a first day in the NFL for Rashaan Salaam. Offensively, this day has belonged to Chicago. They've outgained the Vikings 397 total yards to 256 for that high-powered Minnesota attack, which today was not too high-powered, only 138 yards in the air for Warren Moon. Andre Ismail back deep for the Vikings as Sauerbrunn kicks it away. And another touchback, the second of the day. They had none all of last year. And again, it points out, as you see the tattoo on the left bicep of the punter and kickoff man, Todd Sauerbrunn, why they spent a number 2 pick on number 16. Join hosts Sybil Shepherd and Jason Alexander along with Heather Locklear, Jerry Seinfeld, Candace Bergen, George Clooney, Jimmy Smits, and more as Fox presents the biggest night of television on television. It's the 47th Annual Emmy Awards, Sunday, September 10th, right here on Fox. Evidently, McLean Stevenson was booked that night. First down for the Vikings from their own 20. Time is running out, and Moon has to put it up. Over the middle and nothing there. And hands on him, Al Fontenot wrapped him up after Moon got rid of that pass.
For Fontenot to get to Moon in this situation, again, we talked about Flanagan and the determination and the hustle earlier. For Fontenot to get there, it shows real determination because the Bears are only going to rush 3 defensive linemen in this situation. Drop everybody into coverage. Make sure you don't give up the long pass.
Moon has thrown 4 straight incomplete passes. On second down, he finds his tight end Jordan. Brought down just across the 25, short of a first down.
We talked about Warren Moon's injury to his shoulder only being 90%. And as I said earlier, that's going to take its toll more than any time late in the game.
Third down for the Vikings, 4 to go, and they find Ismail, who had a first down. Then he's tackled at the 30. And they'll give him the spot and give him the first down. So a big completion for Minnesota on 3rd down, but what a good start for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, good start for their defense, their run defense. They didn't have a huge day, but their pass rush really looked good. Nice sacks. Jim Flanagan really emerging as a name, a guy to watch on the Chicago Bears defense.
Under 2.5 to go in Minnesota with a 1st down, but no timeouts remaining. They're down 17. Penalty flag on the play. Ampley out of the backfield finds a 1st down, but you get the feeling this is coming back.
Yeah, Chris Hinton had his hands all over Alonzo Spellman. And Spellman clapped his hands a little bit, but he'd rather have the sack than the holding penalty.
78 offense, 10 yards, repeat 1st down.
A couple of players down, one for the Bears, and that's Mangum, a backup strong safety and one of the nickelbacks for the Bears.
Yeah, the violence in the game of football is not always on the line in the trenches. The violence sometimes happens out in the secondary. Mangum, 26, catches a blindside shot from Qadry Ismail, and Ismail hurts himself. Mangum goes over to see if Ismail's all right, and then he goes down.
So Mangum's the one that's left on his knees, and Ismail able to get up.
Yeah, but
get over to the bench.
He's hurting too over there on the bench.
And remember, the holding penalty will bring that play back after a pickup of 13. That's erased, and a 1st and 20 coming up for the Vikings. Well, the Chicago Bears really need John Mangum in their lineup. He is their top nickel defensive back.
Yeah, nickel back is that 5th defensive back that you bring in on passing situations to cover the receivers, and they do need him.
Fans, this game is presented by the authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the expressed written consent of the Bears and the National Football League is prohibited.
If the Bears do lose John Mangum for any period of time, the one consolation is Dwayne Joseph for the Bears, a Syracuse University graduate, defensive back, has really come in today and played a fine game.
In fact, has an interception. Pat Eilers, number 37, 5th-year player out of Notre Dame, checks into the defensive secondary for Chicago. Setting up a screen, setting it up to Ampley, and he hurdles a tackler. Got over Joseph and was knocked out of bounds as he crossed the 25-yard line.
On the screen pass, knocked out of bounds.
Talk about the Bears defense and talk about the top tacklers, and Carrier leading the way with 6. These are solo tackles, but when you talk about that group up front, the front for the Bears defense really stepped it up today.
Yeah, they did. We saw that nice play from Chris Zorich earlier on, slipping into the Minnesota backfield, making a big play when they needed it down in the red zone. Flanagan with 2 big sacks, his first sacks in the NFL, and Spellman looking good, creating some havoc in the backfield as well.
2nd down and 15. Over the middle, Jake Reed. How did he catch that ball? A juggling act as he's brought down at the 45-yard line of Chicago with 1:59 to go. So at the 2-minute warning, the Vikings on the move, but they're left with no timeouts. They're down by 17, and it looks like the Vikings will start 95 0-1. Fans, next week it's Fox NFL Sunday when most of you will see the Lions and the Vikings or other exciting regional action. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. Vikings have it 1st and 10 in Chicago Bear territory here at Soldier Field as we open up the 95 season, and Chicago on their way to a 1-0 record, and the Vikings will start in the hole. 1st down for Minnesota, but no timeouts left and down by 17. Moon trying to outrun Spellman, gets rid of it and completed the pass to Jake Reed. A couple of fantastic catches by Reed the last 2 throws. How about Denny Green? Comes into the NFL, takes over the Vikings, leads the Vikings to 3 straight playoff appearances, 2 NFC Central Division titles. This year, the Vikings start out, however, it looks like 0-1. Now you've got a home game against Detroit, a home game against Dallas, and a game at Pittsburgh. Could be a rough start to the season for the Vikings. 2nd down and 7. Moon rolling to buy time, and wide open is Palmer. Wrestled out of bounds after he found a 1st down. Dwayne Joseph there on the tackle, and what a good first day of the '95 season for Eric Kramer.
Yeah, he really has to feel comfortable with himself. The biggest number here, the 3 touchdowns, really out-throwing Warren Moon, one of the game's top quarterbacks. And when people think about quarterbacks, they don't think of Eric Kramer as a first-rate quarterback. If he keeps putting up these kind of numbers and the Bears keep putting up these kind of points, by the end of the season, people are going to mention Kramer in the same breath as some of the other good quarterbacks.
On 1st down, Moon to put it up. Ampley out of the backfield, shakes a tackle, and gets a 1st down. Out of bounds at the 21, and another Viking 1st down. Pickup of 10 for Lee and a 1st down. Danced out of bounds right at the marker. Talk about that Bears running game and the debut of Rashaan Salam. How about Todd Perry?
Yeah, young guy, big body. He is going to have a very long career, a long future here with the Chicago Bears.
3rd-year player out of Kentucky takes over from Mark Bortz, who was so great in his career here in Chicago.
Yeah, Bortz would be proud of that performance Todd Perry put on today.
On 1st down, Carter over the middle. Gets away from 2 tacklers and can get only to the 15-yard line. And the clock will continue to run.
You talked about Dennis Green, and obviously he's going to be concerned with this loss, especially because it's a divisional rival, but it's a very long season.
There's John Mangum going off on that cart. Bears also lost Raymond Harris today. Into the end zone and nearly picked off. Marty Carter stepped in front of Chris Carter.
You talked about the cart. I mean, the cart is a bad thing. As a player, there's nothing more, feeling no more helpless than being carted off on rubber wheels on one of those golf carts.
Folks, today's game is being produced by Michael Burks and directed by Joe Assetti. The studio was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Third down and 4. Moon gets it to Lee, and he cannot shake Dwayne Joseph, who's had a big game for the Bears.
Yeah, and Dwayne Joseph learned his lesson from past runs and catches that Ampley has had, because he goes for the tackle, but he quickly slips down onto Ampley's ankles and hangs on.
Well, we said at the top, there's no better place to be on opening day than Soldier Field, and we've had a good game. Vikings fans won't like it. 31-14 Chicago with about 30 seconds to go. What a catch by Palmer.
There's
on
a
4th down, the Vikings pick up a 1st down.
Yeah, and there's a guy, Palmer, who really looked like an ugly duckling last season. Only had 6 receptions, high round draft choice. This year, he looks like a swan. He's had some great kick returns in the preseason. Kansas City, 9 returns for 201 yards and a touchdown. And he's going to be a big part of this Minnesota offense in days to come.
2nd round pick out of Alabama. Gets the catch, gets the 1st down. And from the 8-yard line, it's 1st and goal for the Vikings. Over the middle, overthrown. Ampley, the intended receiver. Barry Minter there defending for Chicago.
Well, Warren Moon didn't have a terrible day today, but he didn't have a spectacular day either. And the one statistic that everybody looks at for a quarterback beyond touchdowns and interceptions and completion percentage is wins and losses. We saw that last year in Chicago with Kramer, who was 1-4, and Walsh, who was 8-3. Everybody said, well, Walsh has got to be the better quarterback because wins is what people look to.
2nd and goal. Moon is thrown for 249 yards today. A touchdown and interception. And a penalty flag will be thrown on Jeremy Lincoln. on the back of Jake Reed in the end zone. Jeremy Lincoln will draw the flag. And this will give the Vikings a fresh set of downs. First and goal from the 1, but
39 defense in the end zone. First down on the 1-yard line.
Only 23 seconds to go.
Lincoln 39 climbs right onto Jake Reed, hits him before the ball gets there.
First and goal from the 1. Out of the backfield, Lee, and he sees nothing but Bear defenders. Mark Carrier there first, but just about all 11 were there for Dave Wanstead's defense.
I mean, Lee may be slippery, but you can't slip out of that many.
And that will end it at Soldier Field opening day. This one belongs to the Bears. Denny Green and the Vikings start out 0-1. Warren Moon had a rough day, not what he had expected. Eric Kramer and the Bears, a big day and a victory over their Central Division rival Minnesota Vikings. So for Tim Green, this is Joe Buck saying so long from Soldier Field, where the final score is Minnesota losing to the Bears 31-14. JB coming up with a post-game show after this.